there is a division in the House about whether to go forward with impeachment. Could you speak to that a little? I read somewhere that you're one of the people in Congress waiting to see what happens with some of the court cases.
So you're absolutely right. And as someone who's read the Mueller report, and I brought my little dog-eared copy in with me here from cover to cover. There is no question that this special prosecutor wrote a report that every American should be completely worried about in terms of the first volume on Russian interference in the last election, which again one of the moments in the Mueller hearing where he did kind of open up a little bit and said that it's happening now. It should be just screaming out to the Congress and to the country that, we've got a problem here that needs to be addressed seriously. House passed a bill for election security, which would have provided an extra $600 million across the country to harden voter systems. Sarah McConnell just amazingly stonewalling. And, it's fine if he doesn't like the House bill, but to do nothing, given what Mueller testified to, and which every intelligence agency for the country and Trump appointees, Coates until just recently, but, Wray from FBI, they're all saying the same thing. So that obviously doesn't deal with impeachment, but there's no question that part of this investigation was to get to the bottom of what happened in 2016, and clearly it validated that, and obviously sent a strong signal out that we've got to wake up and recognize that this happened. One last point on that: we had a briefing from the different agencies, Homeland Security, FBI, Coates, and others, and they talked about the 2018 election, which they felt pretty good about the fact that, there really wasn't any, problems that took place. But there was no question there was a county in Florida where there was a hack that took place. And frankly, we have still not gotten an answer from the administration about just what exactly happened there and what do we need to do about it. So, Senator McConnell's kind of happy talk, that, we did a great job in 2018, and, they got a standing ovation when they briefed us. I mean, I was in that room. I didn't see any standing ovation. I saw the Florida members, bipartisan, saying, what are you guys doing about what we know happened, in the state of Florida, which we know is always, a state that, on election night, is one that you got to watch like a hawk. The second section on obstruction is really, I think, obviously where the issue of impeachment is most directly addressed. And, my position is that if you read the section, particularly on Donald McGahn, the White House counsel, which describes in pretty unredacted language the direct interaction he had with the president, who was instructing him to say things that weren't true. That's to me where, in terms of what we're able to actually get back from the report is what I think that the Congress needs to be focused on. So last Friday, the House Judiciary Committee filed an application to the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, seeking the grand jury testimony that underlay the Mueller investigation. And I just want to again sort of read to you in the index. It was a 53-page application justifying the request. It states the Judiciary Committee is investigating whether to recommend articles of impeachment. So in my opinion, that's exactly what I want to see happen, which is that, this is, it's not over because Mueller came and testified. And obviously it was a mixed event in terms of, the country and the Congress getting clarity. And Nadler and his lawyers are doing exactly the right thing in the follow-up of that. And that was, again, filed on Friday. They are also going to file a lawsuit to force McGahn to come over and testify. The fact that he is publicly on record talking about this, I don't think he has any claim that, whatever claims he may have to privilege he waived when he went into this interview and it was published. And so that's exactly where I think Congress should be. Coming out for impeachment. I support the efforts look, I am a plaintiff in the emoluments lawsuit. I'm suing Donald Trump. I've supported the efforts of the special counsel at every step of the way, and I know Jerry Nadler well, and I think he is a really serious person who's doing his job right now, and we should let that sort of play itself out. Saying you're for impeachment, before this process has evolved. I mean, I'm old enough to remember the Rodino Committee and Judiciary, and I think they handled it the right way. I mean, remember there was a subpoena at issue there in terms of the Watergate tapes that they, when that finally got resolved, that's what frankly broke the process open, and that's sort of the model that I look at. Saying you've already concluded, that you're going to vote for impeachment is kind of like, Judge Roy Bean. We're going to give him a fair trial before we hang him, not that I have any tender mercies, for the behavior of this president, and I think his tax policy is an outrage, and what he did on repeal is an outrage. But we're talking about something that is really the crown jewels, which is overturning an election, and you've got to do it the right way.